Hello, fabulous empowered humans. Welcome to your Monday morning soul boost with Mia Frankel and Sharon Bowes. You guys, these sessions are so activating for everyone who comes. So even just putting them together gets me excited. And they're very workshop based. So you have to be prepared to engage with yourself and with us and do some work because it's easy to sit back and just watch something. But the transformation happens when you actually implement and do the thing. That's how you become. So, in today's Soul Boost, we are going to look at our emotions. Let's give some time to this underlying audience that tends to run our state of being. Um, on the weekend, I got lost in an emotion of like negative emotions of sadness, of insecurity, of anger. And it started consuming me for the whole day. And, a day or two later, after some sleep and breathing, all of a sudden, they're not as strong. So I want to pay attention to how emotions can completely consume us and walk us through that feeling rather than getting stuck in it. Okay. You've all seen a toddler having a complete tantrum, and it's magnificent to witness. And your logical brain is going, what is happening? Why are they so stuck on this? Well, hate to break it to you, but you do it too, even as an adult.
Oh,
Love
yes.
you. Hashtag true story. You may not be as physical as a toddler, but don't tell me that your inner narrative isn't doing that exact exhibit, okay? So, hence, emotions are our teachers. They let us know where we don't feel safe, or they let us know where we feel excited. There's the duality, and the scale is like negative, neutral, and positive, right? And the best thing to do with emotions is to feel them until they're spent. Let them out. What I find, and Sharon, I'd love to see what you find, is when I get an emotion, I become it, and I'm like on the roller coaster of it. And what I'm practicing is feeling that emotion and then coming back to more neutral. And neutral isn't a bad place, neutral is a holding place. So I get very excited all the time. I'm like a happy puppy at the dog park. And that is wonderful energy, but controlling it allows me to experience life from a more grounded state rather than like excited, sweaty all the time. So, emotions are trying to tell us things about our needs and our values and our truth. Okay. Emotions aren't control, it's about curiosity and self learning, self navigating. What beautiful words. Forget all the other self development words. We are learning to self navigate. Sharon, you're going to love that because you're a map queen. Self navigating through life and learning to respond from grounded clarity, not fear or overexcitement, which is often my case, like wagging my tail, but from grounded clarity. What is exciting about this? Where do I see this leading me? And how will I absorb that excitement rather than be distracted by it, right? So good. So let's
Absolutely.
dig into some of this. Here's where we can already start getting workshoppy with each other. And I just love this image. Like Canva is so full of beauty, and this one just really struck me. So I hope it's having that effect on you too. Emotions will create narratives over what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about others, what we give meaning to, in certain interactions and emotional states. And underneath it all is indicating what do I believe is actually true about me. Example, um, I was emotionally triggered when I am a volunteer leader in a local community group, and I'll try and keep it neutral and anonymous as we are recorded and respecting privacy. So in that group dynamic, there's four of us. One of the others expressed what felt like complaints about the work that we were doing. And I already have an insecurity wound, and I hold it now. It's fine, but it was triggered. So their comments and behaviors led me to believe about myself, I'm not doing a good enough job. Led me to believe about them, they're whining and complaining, I don't like them. I don't like this person. I'm not going to enjoy this experience with them. They are nitpicky and they don't want to step in to do the work. They just want to complain about it. Super annoying. What do I believe about these things is I'm not good enough. They're not what I just listed. This is not going to be fun. How am I going to do this for the next year? Underneath it all, what I believe, what that was leading me to was, again, I don't know enough. How am I going to lead this? I thought I could do this. I don't know if I can do this. Negative, negative, negative. And what happens when I look at those emotions is I go, oh, these are the old wounds. These are the not enoughness that I carry, but that doesn't fully define me. It's not going to be my identity anymore. I've been working to be more grounded and clear about who I am. So, what's actually true about me is now I can kind of lift up above the situation and just watch the different pieces in action. I'm expecting myself to be perfect and know it all, which is insane because that's a lot of pressure to put on myself. I am reacting to somebody else's entire lived experience and development and neuro pathways and their own triggers and their own expectations. We're new working together. I really don't know this person at all, so I have no idea where they're coming from or what's going on for them. I'm believing these things because they're familiar and they feel comforting, but they don't actually serve me. So when I zoomed out, I could see they're just bringing their own perspective and they're different than me, and that's fine. I can now see the different pieces of what are going on, and I can calm and soothe myself and remind myself that I am not perfect. Sharon, say it. I am not perfect, and I don't need to be because perfect isn't a real thing. And that is so freeing. I'm trying. So I lean in, I experiment, I get curious, and I try to shift things for me, not for the other person, because I can't control them. And then that leads me to say, wow, I actually am a really good leader because I can hold myself in my emotional tantrum while not getting into an argument or an escalated conflict with somebody else. Okay. So I just want to walk you through these questions so that you can think about a triggering situation where you withdrew, where you attacked, where you shrank, where you screamed from the rooftops with excitement, and break it down into a few different steps to actually get underneath what's happening. And that is where you raise your emotional intelligence to navigate through life. Making sense?
Absolutely. That is so cool.
All right. So let's go deeper. Emotions are waves, but you are the ocean. So powerful. You are holding those reactions, and your wisdom can lead you through them. And in order to do that, you got to just calm down. But before you calm down, you have to feel it. What does the wave do? It crashes. It builds momentum and then crashes and dissipates. That's what we want to do with those emotions. When I had that trigger, I held myself through feeling it, feeling angry, resentful, bitter, whiny. I'm better now at trying not to complain too much about things because that just fuels the fire, and more about exploring it with curiosity and watching myself. So it was like, oh, this thing happened and I'm super annoyed, but why am I annoyed? I'm letting the wave crash. And then when the wave crashes, I can look through it. And this is where we want to release. And in a few more slides, we're actually going to do something weird and kind of practice a few emotions so that our body can get used to feeling them and releasing them. And that is how you can do this beautiful, harmonized wisdom and emotional reaction and live in that duality without becoming it. And the beautiful thing about this is like, you're never fully neutral. You're not feeling. You're feeling from a very more intentional and aware space. And it's really awesome. So if you let the waves come through you, you can um, really dive into where they're leading you and finding that place inside you that needs to be heard and that needs to be held. That's what's going on. What truth is below this emotion? What's below this emotion that needs some love, that needs some attention, good or bad? All emotions serve a purpose. Being mad can be logically justifiable depending what it is, right? Like seeing somebody you love mistreated, yeah, you can be mad about that, but you don't want to react from anger necessarily. And then you want to get below why that is. You're mad because you love that person, they're not being treated poorly, and maybe they're not standing up for themselves, and that breaks your heart, and you want to be there for them, right? So let's think about, and Sharon, you and I can take turns on these. Name two positive emotions. Let's really kind of go through the buffet of emotions as we know them. What are two positive emotions?
Punishment and
Mhm.
joy.
Mhm. Yeah, positive. I'm gonna say like happy, excited, um, grateful, feeling loving, feeling content. So you guys think about some and then come into the school community. I think under emotional well-being is the most logical. But I have two others I suggest at the end to help continue to anchor these in. And share them, have the conversation with us because we gain more when we interact. What would be some negative emotions?
Mhm. Um, you've named most of them: bitter, anger, frustrated, and um, outbursts as
Uh,
a result, you know. Hmm.
Insecure, sad,
Hmm.
self-judging, right?
Yeah.
Self-pressuring expectations can be negative. So those sorts of things. And there's a beautiful spectrum of, words to articulate what we're feeling. And it's useful to spend time in that because when you name it, you can better understand it and engage with it.
Yep.
So, in a little bit of good Googling, bringing together the kind of standardized six core human emotions: happiness, to live in happiness every day. What a goal. a pleasant emotional state associated with joy, contentment, and positivity, which is very well described, and then as a feeling, to me, it's like sunshine, just feels like sunshine and warmth. Sadness, emotion that may arise from a circumstance like loss, an interaction with somebody, or it can just be a narrative that we're living in, a narrative of sadness, of disappointment in self or others, and feeling maybe neglected and alone. Fear as a survival emotion that keeps your nervous system hijacked and constantly responding to everything going on around you. Someone says hi to you. Why did they say hi to me? What do they want? Is there something on my face? Da, 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 just poof, gone in a state. Anger, always in a threat mode, in a fight mode, in a um, morally righteous mode, where you're trying to prove. People in authority sometimes might feel that way, like they're just ready to prove that somebody's wrong before they even have a chance to be anything. Surprise, unexpected, that keeps us alert and adaptable to new situations. And disgust, a protective emotion indicating intense displeasure or signaling potential danger. But really, it's like judgment. You don't like that. I can't believe she's wearing that. Oh my God, look at him thinking he's all that. Disgusting, right? Very judgy. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's a bit cutesy, but it's really fun to watch the movie Inside Out. There's now two of them where they've developed cartoon characters. It's for kids, but they've developed cartoon characters to give personalities to these different emotions and show how, like, their entire personality is based around their emotion. And so they're very standalone as a pillar, and then watching them engage with each other and fight for control of the human is really good because it paints a very deeper picture where we are kind of just going through the motions and feeling the things. But how often are we slowing down to really get deeper into what that emotion is and what it means and like why it's there? So here's the weird exercise I promised you. Expressing emotions. Sharon, will you be so kind and pick one of these and then behave in the um, personality of it?
Sure. Oh, oh my God. That is so cool. Oh, yay. Oh, lovely. What an amazing gift. Never thought I would see the day.
Beautiful. I'm feeling like that surprise and maybe
Yep.
woven in with some happiness. Okay, guys, I'm going to do one. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is terrible. I can't believe this. They didn't agree with me, and I'm so incompetent, and I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm probably going to get fired.
Oh,
And why do I continue to not be diligent and vigilant on myself? And this just keeps happening, and I can't get out of this pattern. What am I going to do?
mm. It's a blending of fear and disgust.
Right? Self-judgment,
Mm.
self-expectation, pressure. Probably one that,
Been
as
there, done that, feel it.
you guys, like about a week ago, I realized, and even leading up into the weekend, I was like, all of a sudden, higher self or more aware navigating self was like, dude, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. You put a lot of, you're always pushing for more. And in the meantime, you are performing quite well, like marathon levels. And I kind of looked, at my other um, other level of awareness. And I was like, wow, thank you. Holy tomatoes. I have not been realizing the intensity that I put myself under. And it allowed me to drop in and relax into a state of greater self trust, which is really, where navigating emotions should lead us to. Am I fully grounded in my values and sense of self when I get mad? Am I fully grounded and aligned in my values when I am disgusted? There are plenty of things and people to be justifiably disgusted with in life. Some people are intentionally malicious and evil, right? But it is, why are you reacting that way? Where is it coming from that makes it the tantrum, the toddler tantrum, or the aware, self navigating adult who knows their true self? Okay, so a little bit of text here, but bear with me because these sessions are to be integrated, right? It's a tangible workshop to deepen your understanding and give you tools to carry forward. So if you're watching on a Monday morning, this should now come with you to navigate the rest of your day, reflecting back on what we've talked about and trying to present it in different ways for all the beautiful different minds that come. So, emotional intelligence as letting them flow like a river,
Mm.
powerful, alive, always moving, the wave crashing. The ocean or the river doesn't fear what's coming at it, it moves with it. So we're not trying to control how we feel, but we want to express it and then get underneath it. I've got a young daughter, and her tantrums aren't always about the thing, it's about what she's feeling underneath, right? And sure, tired, hungry, stressed out, but really needing to come back to feeling safe. So, where do we need to feel safe from the emotion that triggers us? Because emotions are memory. And if you haven't watched one of the body soul sessions, please do, and or it will come back into circulation again, because our body holds all of our lived experiences. So, an emotional trigger is a memory back to something we've experienced before. And every time we come up against it again, we catalog it as evidence and as confirmation bias that we hold on to. And this is the pattern we want to break. We want to heal forward and take care of that wound so that it becomes part of who we are and less in control of what we perceive, right? And feeling emotions is what keeps us human. It's a beautiful lived experience. But here, leading off that other point, letting them carve new pathways, new identities, and transforming us. And it's never boxed up, neat and tidy, checked off black and white. It's an evolving state,
Mm.
and we want to continue to evolve with it. So the river carves out new paths. Hello, the Grand Canyon. If our emotional intelligence were static and we compare it to the Grand Canyon, then it would just have been water over land and it would have never changed and created one of the seven wonders of the world, right? So think about who you can become through letting your emotions continue to shape what you know about yourself and your identity. And emotional bravery, feel, not fix. Emotional bravery, what a beautiful combination of words to experience your emotions and see where they lead you and be willing to be vulnerable in them and be willing to be confronted in them and to do some deeper reflections and let that, like, what I found the best when my child's having a tantrum is to let her have the tantrum. Just sit there with her and let her have it and validate that what she's feeling is very real for her in that moment. And then it gets expressed, and I've said this multiple times and I'm going to do it again. It's the emotional fart, right? Like you just release, then you get under it. A twofold process: trigger, feel it, then get curious without judgment to explore and see where it leads you. With my insecurity stuff, now I see, I'm like, oh, I hear you. And we don't have to choose that identity anymore, but we can hold it. We can hold it. It doesn't have to be something I ever eradicate. You know, Sharon and I were talking about coaching is like a sensational transformation and you'll never be the same. Well, there's pieces of you that are there and it's fine for them to be there, but you don't want them to continue to lead you because they're not leading you the way that you want. They're not aligned with your actual values and your higher sense of self. So this is where we can just hold space for them like a scar, you know, just like a scar or a tattoo maybe that becomes part of you and part of your story, but doesn't lead your identity. So if you haven't received this underlying is what are your triggers and where do you let them mean something about your identity? What do you hold on to and why? I hold on to insecurity. Well, it was a huge part of my childhood of like feeling like an ugly duckling, of feeling like the weird kid who didn't fit in, of, you know, only having one or two friends, all of these kind of small things. But if that were my daughter today, I would just let that be enough and let her know that she is maybe just a shy person who has an intimate circle of friends and that we're all unique and different. So as you go through the rest of your day, think about something that's going to trigger you. You know, like in my day-to-day job by law enforcement, people come to the counter angry and they're ready for conflict. And it's been such a gift to work through separating that from anything about me because as an insecure person, facing someone who's ready for conflict are immediately like dying. They're out to get me. No, they're just having a bad day, right? And it's helped me navigate the physiological response to those wounds and get stronger and stronger in my identity. So think about when your spouse says something to you and you immediately react. What's underneath that? And what are you
Mm.
making it mean about you? And how can you shift into softness and grow that? And then, you know, sit and journal when even just contemplating this um, through the mind, questions to work through this, because it takes you into the work underneath it all, right? And finding ways to stretch out that emotion and explore it after the physiology of it has been expressed. This is how we shift into what I've been sharing of um, being able to kind of sit on the emotion as it's happening. And there may be other questions or reflections that you have for yourself. These are just a framework, just a starter point, because sometimes that can be the choke up moment, right? So we're here to lean you into it. And then, ta-da! The hub is just so fantastically designed where it holds space for all of this. And so in these three particular ones is where you can spend, you know, I usually recommend the next 2 weeks at minimum of going through. So you're not rushing, you're not pressed for time, you're not setting an unrealistic goal, you're rolling it into your day to day to just go and watch, engage one piece of content in each of these to deepen this soul session and to deepen this part of you to help you be more grounded at work, at home, with your friends, and especially with yourself. So there you go, guys. That's your soul session for today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mia. This is such a joy. Take care. Have a beautiful week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.